All right, we are live. What up, though, Carson? I hope you lose your life savings on the show, on the bets. Can you see the comments, Turnipike? Like if you hit to the side where it says comments with the three dots are, you can see the comments that people are leaving on there. I don't know why it's not showing anybody. It's showing zero people in here. But anyway, we're gonna get this started. This is my guy Turnipike. Irish. He's not UK. He's not a Brit. He's Irish. I had to correct that mistake earlier. Even though I knew he was Irish, I didn't really think about it like that. What's good with you? Turnipike, can you hear? Turnipike. Hold up. He might be having some technical difficulties. One second. Hold up 1 second. Message him. What's up, Jay Wash?
Come on. Yeah, you can hear me now?
Yeah, there we go. We got you now.
Well, let me come back in.
Okay. Just a little technical difficulties. Who cooked? Ain't nobody cooked yet. I think it was the stream maybe because it was showing zero people in here even though y'all were talking. Where's your wrench? I gotta do it from my phone, Ray. I gotta do it from my phone.
Hey, Lefty, how are you? So I got cut off there for some reason.
Okay. All right, we all good though. We all good.
Mm-hmm.
Did you win some money last week, Jose? Laura by K Moore, drink more water, Laura by K Moore. Well, we will see. What's the first card you want to start off with? Turning fight. What's the first fight you want to start off with?
Let's just do it chronologically. Let's go with the fight tonight. The main card, David Adelaide against Dimitri Bizos. I think we go for that one.
David Adelaide and Demetrius Bizos.
Yeah, heavyweight fight.
So y'all can see it.
Yeah, it's a heavyweight fight. It's on a Frank Warren card. To be honest, there's not much to say about the card as a whole, but I have a feeling that David Adelaide. Tell me when you want to just kick this off. I'll wait for you to get it up.
No, it's up there. Go ahead.
You see it there? Yeah. Look, I have no time for David Adelaide. I think he's really, really bad. You can tell he's had no amateur career. He's 10-0 at the moment with 9 wins by TKO knockout, right?
Yep.
The best fighter he's fought, and actually the best fighter that Demetrius Bizos has fought as well, in terms of, if you put both of their records combined, the best fighter was Kamil Sokolowski, which most people thought was robbed in his David Adelaide fight. So David is a massive favorite in this fight, but he's coming in at 230. Bezos is coming in at 260. And Bezos has, I think, 40 kickboxing fights under his belt. So he has a bit of a pedigree. Okay. He wins a lot of his fights on going the distance. And he's 6'7" at 260 against David, who's 6'4", 230. Now, I'm not massively convinced that they'll give him the win if he wins. But I think there's a value bet in there around going the distance. If you want to be really, really specific, I even think a Bezos decision at like plus 1,600. I don't particularly think that's going to happen, but I don't think David Adelaide is going to be strong enough or big enough to close the distance and fight a guy who's pretty defensively minded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if I want to be risky, I'm probably going to bet a draw or Bezos decision, but more than likely, I think it's going to be Adelaide decision. But otherwise, go the distance, plus 250, plus 280. I don't know what odds you have up there.
It's plus 320.
Plus 320. Yeah, that's better. I'd honestly put that down. No way David's getting knocked out, and I just don't think he's good enough to knock Bezos out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good value find. And that,
Yeah,
that card is, you said tonight, but it's what, tonight over there, or?
it's today. It's today. It's like in 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
y'all
yeah.
better
The
get your
card is
guys.
I think the card is actually underway as we speak. There's nothing on that card though. It's very lackluster. That's the only. Funny enough, the co-main is the main card is the only one that I found to be mildly interesting.
Okay, you didn't. Okay, so you didn't
Mm.
find any value in that the main event, right?
No, like Chamberlain's fight, he's a 1 to 50 favorite. Can't see it going any way than the favorite of that fight. Um, no, so that's the only one I go for. But like even that, like plus 320 main fight. If you want to be really risky, you like six plus 1600 for Bezos. I
Yeah.
put I put €15 down on that or whatever,
Okay.
$15.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And so we move on to tomorrow's the big
Yeah,
fights tomorrow.
yeah, big fights tomorrow. We can go through it. Like I only started at Chevron Clark and Israel Doofus. Chevron is he's actually coming in like 2 wins, no losses. Have to admit, he's he has a good amateur record. That's the reason. Israel Doofus is 20 wins, but he has 8 losses. He's Panamanian. Um, he's really, really poor. I don't think Chevron's going to have any issue getting a knockout. And I actually think it's going to be in like the first 4 rounds. So minus 180. It's actually the only minus bet I have on my entire night. Um, but if I looked up Israel Doofus fighting his last fight, which he lost in the 4th round, leads with his head, no head movement, gets hit a lot, and Chevron Clark is a pretty good. He's a pretty good. He's a very good amateur. He's good headspace. British Jamaican. I think he's a really good fighter. There should be no surprises here. So 1 to 4 for me. I don't know what you guys have that as.
We don't even. I don't even have it on the book. I can't even find it on the book over here.
Oh,
But I.
really?
Yep.
Okay. Well, do you have Well, let's only talk about ones that you can find. Do you have Kieran?
No. Because everybody uses different books over here,
Okay.
so somebody
Yeah.
else might have that one on there. So you said say that one again, so I could type it in the chat.
Yeah. So I'm thinking Chevron Clark in the first 4 rounds. If you're using the American, I think that's minus 180. If
Okay.
you're using kind of British Irish, that's 8 to 15. And that's Israel Doofus. Um, all I'll say is look up Israel Doofus on YouTube. Watch his last fight. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Technically fine, knows how to box, but no head movement. Kind of just stands there, gets hit. Um, yeah, I'm not too impressed by him. It should be a good setup for Clark for his next fight.
Okay.
Yeah,
Who's Clark? Who do you think Clark is fighting next?
don't know. There's a few people on the British team, but like it usually happens with these with British Jamaican heavyweights, or sorry, with just British heavyweights for the moment. They tend to find guys in the top 20, 30 European, whether they're Brit or French, German, like they kind of just take them off the streets. So, he's 2-0 now. I wouldn't expect us to hear a good name for a while. Maybe they'll give him Kamil Sokolowski. Uh, you could probably put him in with Char if you really wanted to. Um, but yeah, no, I wouldn't be too sure what he's going to do next. But this is a fine setup for him, though. 20 wins, 8 losses. That's pretty good for your third fight at heavyweight.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, what's the next fight we have? The next one you're looking at?
Kieran Conway be Jorge Silva.
Conway versus Jorge Silva.
Yeah, so Kieran Conway. He is coming off a loss, and his loss was in the it was actually in the Canelo Triple G fight, and it was Austin Williams,
Okay.
which I'm sure you know who Amo Williams is.
Oh yeah. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it was a good. Yeah, that was the Canelo Triple G trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Conway and Austin fought on the undercard. Pretty convincing win for Amo, to be honest with you. Um, I'll be honest with you. Kieran Conway, he's 18 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw. It's at super middle, so 168. Uh, Kieran's from Northampton. He doesn't have that many big name wins, but he has a lot of notable name losses, like Williams, like Suleiman.
Okay.
His best opponents that he's won against is probably James Metcalf, Mansouri, and then you could probably give an honorable mention to the Cheeseman draw, just because Cheeseman's good on the night. Um, but he's up against a guy called Jorge Silva, right? So Jorge Silva is 21-7, and Jorge Silva he's Portuguese and he's coming off a lot of losses. Sorry, he's not coming off a lot of losses. He's coming off some very meager wins against some very subpar opposition. So for me, he's good enough that he might make the distance. If I was to put a value bet, I'd probably go Conway points.
Conway
Um,
points.
yeah, Conway points. I think you get that at plus 125. Um, so you're still going for the favorite. They think Conway's going to go for a knockout, which could likely happen. I'm not massively confident on the method of prediction, but I don't think we'll get a surprise here with Kieran Conway. The only problem is he's very inconsistent, but Jorge Silva doesn't really, from what I've seen him do, which is me looking him up today, he doesn't really have anything in his he doesn't have anything in his repertoire that should challenge Kieran Conway. Because Conway has a good amount of experience under his belt.
Okay. And for those that missed it, in case you didn't see, but Drink More Water said Clark versus Doofus is on DraftKings, so you can find that on. If you have DraftKings, you can find that on there.
Ah, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's a lot of different books that people use. I gotta restart my DraftKings up so I can throw a little something on there.
I think
Yeah.
they pulled it from Europe. I think I got a notification. I used to use it for I used to use DraftKings for the way you could do those tournaments where you get a certain amount of kind of virtual money and you could pick your 5 fighters on like a card.
Yeah.
More for the UFC. That was great fun. But I think they pulled that recently.
That was one of the only ones we could get before betting was legal here in Ohio. Excuse me. You had to
Yeah,
play
I
the
just
fantasy stuff, whatever.
yeah, I find that outrageous. How many states are there? Not to get too off the topic. Well, we're talking about betting. How many
I
states
think it's
do
like
not allow?
20. Do not allow it. The majority don't allow it. Let me see.
Join the army, buy a gun, run for president, but you can't put you
Uh,
know $5 on the Super Bowl.
Okay, it's legal in 36 states now, so that's a lot more.
Yeah, but it's not enough.
Yeah, that's a lot more. Yeah, it should be
It should be all
everywhere. I
50.
don't see the point of this.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
all right, so
Um,
what's our next one we're looking at?
Gamal Yaffe v Diego Alberto Ruiz.
Yaffe. He's related to what's the other guy name? It's another Yaffe, right?
Yep, there's two. There's two in there, but he's do, 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 Kyle Yaffe,
Yeah.
Cal Yaffe, and Galal Yaffe.
Okay. Is this one is I think he has like what 2 losses, right?
Yeah, he's 2 losses, and it's at 122, so
Okay.
122 pounds. He's fighting out of England. Yeah, he's 19-2 now. He lost off Gavin McDonnell and he lost off Jason Cunningham. He's actually coming off a loss into this fight, so he lost against Jason Cunningham and Gavin McDonnell. Both fought him to a unanimous decision loss. Um, and to be honest with you, Gavin McDonnell is an under. I was only talking about him recently. He's a really underrated fighter. I know his brother, Jamie McDonnell, who's a former world champion, is kind of he's considered the kind of the big name in the family. But
Mm-hmm.
Gavin McDonnell is a tough fighter. Um, yeah, but anyways, going back to his opponent. Actually, speaking of just the main card, Gavin McDonnell knocked out Leigh Wood.
Oh
Um,
yeah. He sure did.
yeah. Like so,
Yep.
like that's a tough fight to take on your 14th fight. He's a good fighter, Gavin McDonnell. But yeah, he's coming off a loss anyway, and he's coming off a guy. I got mixed up with the previous fight with Jorge Silva, Alberto Ruiz. So Alberto Ruiz, His last 4 fights have been 3 losses and a draw. So he's going into this 5th fight trying to like wait for a win. Gamble actually has 11 KOs at 122, which is a pretty good ratio for 19 fights. 122 pounders don't hit that hard in terms of like their knockout ratios, but I 100% think that for a value bet, I think a late KO, TKO for Gamal Yafi is the way to go for this. You get that at plus 350.
So what late when you say late KO, you're meaning what, 9 through 12? Was this 12 or 10 rounder?
It's going to be I'm almost 100% certain it's going to be a 10 rounder. And I think you can get the late TKO at 9 to 12, 9 from rounds 9 to 12 at 350.
Okay.
You might have to shop around a bit, but I think you can get it at that. And that's, in my view, that's a really, really good. That's really good odds, right? You have Gamal Yafi. He's favored to win, but he's favored to win on decision. But if you actually look at his KO ratio to his win record, Alberto Ruiz 6 losses, and a few of them are TKO losses. So I don't think it's out of this world to think that he could do it within the distance. But it won't be an early knockout in my view.
Okay. Let me see. Man, I can't. I'm pissed. I can't find. I'm gonna have to search DraftKings. I'm gonna have to restart my DraftKings just to get these fights. Cause it seems like all the good fights are on DraftKings and not the shit I use, FanDuel.
Yeah,
It looks 10-round fight. Mashah says it's a 10-round fight.
Yeah, 10-round fight. So I would go. I go 8, 9, 10. If you can get it on those. Looking at his fights here, like I said, he's coming off his last 4 fights, 3 losses, 1 draw. His first loss was, or not his first loss, his last KO loss actually to Mick Conlan. I love Mick Conlan, but he's not a puncher. He's a great fighter, but he's not much of a puncher. So for me, the betting odds there for Gamal Yafi is by knockout TKO.
Okay. Now I'm looking at one. I found one. The over under is 8.5.
What are you getting for the over?
For the over is minus 400.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
The under is plus 300.
I don't think it's going to be early. Like it could be. It could potentially be. It really depends on how much Alberto Ruiz has in the gas tank. Yafi really needs this win, and he really needs to make a statement. And it's on home. Well, it's in England. You could potentially take that under 300, but what you're asking for then is for Yafi to knock him out in those rounds, because Ruiz he's not going to do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe fight not to go the distance. Could be a kind of a sweet way to get in there, but yeah, in my head, I don't see it. I don't see it going there. Under 7 rounds.
Okay.
Still a good bet, though. I think there's value in that.
All right. And what do we have next?
We have my Gary Cully.
And we have on this one. Okay.
Then we have we have Gary Cully and Wilfredo Flores. So they're fighting at 135 lightweight. Gary Cully now, he's 15 wins, he's no losses, and he's 9 KOs. Obviously, he's Irish. He's from Naas in Kildare. Really good story, like really, really good background to him. He's been boxing since he was about 5 or 6 years old. He's a bit of a home bird. He likes his hometown of Naas in Kildare. And he has a pretty storied record. He's fought some good opponents. And to be honest with you, he's a very tall fighter for his weight class. And I think people underestimate how like a rangy southpaw counterpuncher can be so difficult to beat. He's 6'2". That's very tall for a lightweight.
Hell yeah, that's tall for a welterweight. Shit.
Yeah. And he makes the weight, relatively easily. He fights at both lightweight and light welterweight or super lightweight, whichever way you wanna put that out. Um, and he is just a brilliant counter puncher. Really, really good, and he's 27, so you know what I mean. There's no issues about like his age. He's right in the middle of his career. Great experience. Good history with his amateur record as well. He won. Don't remember the year, but he won a gold medal in the European Youth Championships. Um, and he actually decided to go professional because he was so disillusioned with how Mick Conlan was robbed in his fight against the Russian, and he was very annoyed by the changes in the rules with the amateur boxing scene. So he decided to just go straight professional.
Okay. And how old is Cully?
27.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, he's 27. Like I said, he's southpaw, 27 years old, 9 knockouts out of his 15. So like he's not a knockout artist, but his knockouts are impressive because they come from his countering and his range. And when you have anyone who's not at the top of their game at 135, those long jabs keeping you at distance, and then when you get frustrated and try and close that distance, his ability to catch you on your way in is where his knockout power comes from, and that's really impressive.
So how are you betting this one?
I'm betting this one on the basis of how Wilfredo Flores ranks. So Wilfredo Flores is 10 wins, 1 loss, I believe. Um, he's American. He's 33. I believe he's the only American on the card tomorrow night. And I watched him fight. I watched him v Betancourt. That's probably incorrect how you pronounce it. He's really slow, really, really slow, and really easy to counter. It was painful to watch them. So I have Gary Cully knockout written all over this. It just really depends for me on how. What depends on me is, will Wilfredo Flores go in there? Will he try and be aggressive, get countered, and then shell up and make it very difficult for Cully to get him out of there? Because once a fighter knows that they're getting countered on the way in and they don't want to risk a knockout, they might kind of shell up and stay off the ropes and try and just move around and get away from him.
Yep.
But I think Gary Cully is smart enough to cut off that ring and get him out of there. So I'm putting it at round 7 to 8. You get that at plus 400. But being quite honest, I'll know if he's going to get him out of there earlier after the first round. That'll tell me everything. So if you're in play betting that, and I think in play betting is great for a lot of these fights because
Yeah.
there's some absolute nobody's in there, and I just don't know how they're going to square up to better opposition. But for me, if I had to kind of bet the ante, I'd go 7 or 8 or 5 and 6 for Gary Cully, and you'll get them at plus odds.
Okay. So tomorrow night, if you are watching the fight, and you want to do some in round, are you gonna be tweeting your bets out?
Yeah, I should be. See, I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. I've plans are all gone haywire.
Okay.
With my dog.
I want
But
to
yeah,
put you up on the
I'll
screen
be.
so people know where to follow you on
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Twitter.
Just pick up my name. That's me there. Yeah, do follow me there. I will be tweeting it. I'll definitely be tweeting the David Adelaide fight tonight. And I'll be tweeting. I'll probably, to be honest with you, I'll probably pick up at Gary Cully. I might just tune in for Siobhan Clark just to see what he looks like. But the Gary Cully fight is the fight I'm really looking forward to.
Okay.
And that's just my bias coming through.
Now, if you want to play it safe, you can get Cully by KO at minus 260. If you want
Yeah,
to play
yeah.
it
I think that's a really, really good bet after the first round. I need to see what type of tactics Wilfredo Flores is going to try for this fight. Like I said, I watched him fight. There's not much in his arsenal, and he gets countered a lot. Well, sorry, he potentially can be countered a lot by a good counterpuncher. So I just don't think you can survive in there with such a strong, dominant, tall southpaw who's making a name for himself in his counterpunching. So yeah, I actually had Cully decision there, but the more and more I think about it, I just think he does it. He does it inside the rounds.
Let's see what is the over under for this one is. And ain't even offering the over under.
Yeah, that FanDuel really is limiting your options.
Yeah, FanDuel is some bull, but it's the easiest and most popular one. That's why everybody goes for it.
Yeah, I don't think anyone uses it. Like if you're UK Ireland, Betfair, Bet365, Sky Bet, Paddy Power. Like in fairness, we're indulgent. We're indulgent with how many
Apps you can use for boxing or
huh?
for sports, for apps that y'all can use for sports in general.
Oh yeah, sure. I have two apps on my phone, Betfair and Bet365.
I gotta
They're
get my
hooked right up to my bank account. Just withdraw the money, put it in straight away. Yeah, it's ubiquitous over here.
y'all even got storefronts you can walk into and bet, right?
Oh yeah. There's physical Paddy Power shops. You go in, you're right. Gary Cully, round 7 to 8. You put the betting slip down, you hand over the cash, and you can actually stay in there and watch it if they're showing it. It's more for horse racing and that kind of thing because horse racing goes on in 5 different like if you ever look at betting apps, you'll have at least 5 places between the UK and Ireland that will have 7 or 8 horse races on one after the other. And if you go into the physical betting shops, they'll have it. You don't need an account or anything. You could walk in
Yeah, you
there.
just walk in and bet it.
Yeah, you could walk in right there. You get a betting slip, and you just have to bring that back.
Yep.
You know, but I will say this: like the promotional deals. I remember when Conor McGregor fought Floyd Mayweather. I think every boxing fan knew what the outcome of that fight was going to be. Paddy Power actually cancelled all future betting and just paid out on Mayweather. Because they're like, we're going to lose too much money. Like people were putting millions on Mayweather to win. They knew.
It was the opposite over here. We had a lot of UFC fans that got him down to like a plus 300, if I'm not mistaken.
That is outrageous. I remember they ran a campaign. They said never bet against black, yep. and they gave all the money out.
Yep. All right, what's the next one we're looking at on tomorrow's card?
So just to conclude that, yeah, Gary Cully, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's my prediction for that one. Good value on them. The next one is Dalton Smith v. Billy Allington or Ailington.
Okay.
Let me know when you get that one up.
That's not on there either, but I'm.
That's weird. That's actually the co-main.
I know, man. This shit just sucks.
Yeah, that's actually the co-main for tomorrow night. Is Dalton Smith v. Billy Allington. Now, in fairness, it's I wouldn't worry too much. Because it's not a particularly interesting fight. Well, sorry, no, I'm wrong to say that. Odds-wise, it's very one-sided. It's 1 to 50. It's the biggest favorite of the night, full stop. So you're looking at I don't know what you guys have there.
Only thing I'm saying is that over/under is 4.5.
Yeah, okay, I see that. Yeah, and I see Smith is what minus 3,500.
Yep.
Yeah. My betting my apps are showing him minus 5,000. So that's 1 to 50.
Hold on.
Yeah,
hold up, Bricks. I know this. Why would I bring? Look, well, if I could find somebody that's foreign who is well versed in all these fighters, I'm gonna bring them on. It's not American only. I bring on an American here. They might even know these guys is fighting.
And how'd you know I'm not a foundational American?
Come on, man.
Yeah,
we got to go with expertise. That might, you know who that is? That's MVO. That's MVO. That's MVO with a fake name.
Yeah. You know what? If MVO can sit here and he could pronounce where Gary Cully's from, I'll defer to him and I'll get off this.
No, he went 0-3 last weekend. He's no longer allowed on the show until he can submit his next 3 weeks of bets.
Ooh, that is a rough one. Now, look, I won't be coming back if I don't get my David Adelaide going the distance. I'll be honest with you. Anyways. Yeah, look, Dalton Smith, Billy Arlington, both English fighters. Actually, I think it's the only fight where it's two English guys. Dalton Smith has a really, really good career. He beat Lee Appleyard for, that's a really English name. He beat Lee Appleyard for the English super lightweight title. Commonwealth bronze, silver at the European Youth. One of the most solid all round fighters there are on the card tomorrow. Like I said, he's 13-0. Billy Allington is really, really interesting. He's 10 wins, 1 loss, and 4 draws, which is quite strange that many draws at that weight class. He's from Surrey, so he's British as well. I don't see anything stopping Dalton Smith tomorrow. But I think Billy Allington has enough to stay in the game. So I think it's going to be a very wide, unanimous decision, Dalton Smith, if I had to go. But I'm not confident on that. I wouldn't be surprised if Dalton Smith can take him out of there. I just know from the interviews I watched with Allington and the fights with Allington, he's really solid, really motivated, and knows this will be a life-changing fight because it's for the British title.
Okay.
So I think through pure willpower and desire, and a good bit of technical headspace, I think Billy Allington can survive it, but it'll be a pretty. I think we're looking at a pretty much a whitewash fight. So if you have the going the over the rounds there, I'd look at that. What's that, over 4.5 or 100?
Yeah, over 4.5. Minus 130, which ain't bad if you expect it to. Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, I don't think Dalton Smith's getting him out of there early. I really think Billy Allington is going to lose, but I don't think it's going to be a first, second round. Like, Allington's not a journeyman by any estimation.
Okay, so we're going over. What's the Allington? The Adelaide odds by not Adelaide.
Dalton.
Smith, yeah, Dalton Smith odds by decision.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I have it on my phone, but I didn't realize if I leave this page.
You can't do both of them.
Yeah, let me just look up Dalton Smith points decision. I think it's very light. I think it may be plus 150 or if you bet on Dalton Smith to beat Billy Allington, you get it's not great, to be honest. Okay. Hold on, let me find it here. Okay, so Dalton Smith is 140, right? That's to win. A draw is 20-1. To actually win by decision. Oh, that's not bad at all. Sorry, it's 11-2. So, what's that? 5.5 to 1, which works out as plus 550.
Plus 550 in America. Dalton Smith by decision.
Yeah. 550. Yeah. So it's 5.5 to 1. Yeah. Okay. That's pretty good by me. But look, Dalton or Billy Allington to win by decision is 33-1, which is what's that? That's 3,300.
Yeah, plus 3,300.
Yeah, which is, well, it's not going to happen, but that just shows you the disparity. It's the only fight that's a real one-sided fight in my view on the card. Even though I think Gary Cully and Gamil and Kieran are all going to win, and that's the only fight that I would be absolutely shocked if Dalton loses.
So that over 4.5 seems like a pretty.
I'd go for that. I go for that any day of the week. Yep, and actually, I forgot to actually look at the over under for this fight. I'm gonna actually hit that. I'm gonna make a note and hit that one.
Look, if y'all pay attention, we give you the best odds. Everybody last week won money. Everybody this week will win money too. You just gotta take whichever bet you feel is the best for you. After he gives us analysis, and you take your own analysis, and then take whichever bet is best for you. Like me, I'm going to take the Dalton Smith over 4.5. Some may take it the decision. Whatever feels best for you. That's the way you really bet.
Yeah.
All right. So the next one that we have.
Next one is the big one. That's Leigh Wood v. Mauricia Lara.
The one that everybody has been talking about. Personally, I'm taking Wood. Pause. But I'm taking Wood because that's why I like Leigh Wood. He's one of my favorite fighters. But what I'm gonna bet may not be exactly, I may bet a difference. How do you feel about this one?
Well, why do you?
You said why do I take Wood? Why do I like Wood in this? fight. Why do I like Leigh Wood in this fight? I think he dropped again. You still there? You might have to come out and come back in. But we spoke on this one for a little bit last week. The boxer at Gray. I mean, Leigh Wood can crack, and Leigh Wood can crack late. Uh, both guys have been stopped. Lara has been stopped. Uh, Leigh Wood has been stopped. Leigh Wood has been stopped by a better fighter than Lara. Okay. I don't know. I just like Wood. Wood is just a tough guy, man, and he can crack too. That's the part that I don't think everybody knows what Leigh Wood, what Lara did to Warrington, but Leigh Wood can crack himself, and he can crack late in the fight.
Yeah, 100%. His last two, you can hear me now?
Yeah, you're good now.
Okay, cool. Yeah, his last two fights, Conlan and Zucan, both 12 round knockouts.
Yep.
Well, TKOs, but you know what I mean. Actually, I don't know. I was actually thinking about recently, maybe a boxing fan can explain it to me. How was Conlan a TKO if he was knocked clean out of the ring and couldn't make the 10 count or 20 count?
What would you? That would be a disqualification.
No, because he was knocked out. He was knocked out of the ring. And you add 10 seconds, right?
Yeah.
So you add 10 seconds if you actually physically leave the ring. But he didn't get back into the ring, so he didn't make the count. So I would have thought that'd be a knockout.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. That was just me when I was doing a bit of research on this. I would have thought it doesn't matter, right? Anyways,
yeah. They are heavy on Lara. Everybody's heavy on Lara. Maybe I'm just the outlier here. How you see it
going? I'll run through the records, and then I'll give you my prediction. So we're looking at a featherweight WBA title on the line. For Leigh Wood, right? He's 26-2. He's knocked out Mick Conlan. He's knocked out Zucan. He fought Reese Mold, which is kind of a far third to his most notable wins. And he's lost to, again, Gavin McDonald comes back up on this, and Jazza Dickens. To be honest with you, nobody should be losing to Jazza Dickens, but he's lost to Jazza Dickens. Notes on him is that he's obviously the home ground fighter. He's the underdog for a third time. This is really interesting. He was an underdog against Zucan. He was an underdog against Mick Conlan. And now he's probably the widest underdog against Mauricio Lara. And for him, there's a huge amount riding on this fight because it might set up a city ground fight with Josh Warrington if he comes through this. Lara, on the other hand, is Mexican, born in Texas, 24-2-1. Don't put a massive amount of weight in his losses, but his wins are more important. He's beaten Warrington, we know that. I'm just going to ignore the rematch because nobody really got into that enough, but it looked like Lara was kind of smashing him. And then Emilio Sanchez is his most notable win. The other thing about it is he doesn't have many good fighters on his resume. I was only going through it recently. Palermo, Quijada, Puente, 9 losses, 7 losses, 16 losses. He's 24 years old, which, it's fine that he's kind of fighting these guys, but he doesn't have a resume as good as Leigh Wood at all. When he's fought subpar opponents, right, he shocked the UK with a brilliant win over Warrington. I think he was plus 700 in that fight last time I checked. But I actually think that Leigh Wood is going to win this fight.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think Leigh Wood's going to win this fight. The reason I think it is, people are underestimating how much of a puncher Leigh Wood is. People are underestimating that Lara looked very tight at that weight. Now, look, some fighters do look tight at weight classes, and then they put on an absolute amazing performance. Like Devin Haney famously looks quite bad when he's doing his weigh-ins, like especially against Kambosos, but he turns up and he puts on an absolutely clinical shutdown performance. My prediction, though, is I have 2 predictions. It's Leigh Wood at a decision, because I don't think he's going to knock out Mauricio Lara.
Okay.
And either So at 8.5 to 1, so 850 plus 850. But actually, my favorite bet of the night is 9 to 12, either one KO TKO at plus 500.
So either guy 9 to 12
Yeah, plus 500.
plus 500.
And think about it this way, right? You have Mauricio Lara, who can knock you out in any round. And if he feels like he's losing it or he doesn't want it to go on the cards, he's not going to let that happen. He's going to push that as much as he can.
Mm-hmm.
You have Leigh Wood, whose last two victories have also come in the 12th round. So for me, at a value bet, plus 500 either is a very good blanket for that fight. And I would hit that. I think that's my favorite bet of the entire night. Actually, outside the over 4.5 rounds that you picked up on, I would go for either KO TKO at plus 500 myself.
Okay. You said 9 to 12 for either guy.
I got it at 9 to 12 either guy plus 500. I don't know what do you guys
Over
have.
here is Leigh Wood 9 to 12 is plus 1,600. Lara
Yeah.
9 to 12 is plus 800.
Okay. Yeah. I like if you can't find them together, I'd take them separate.
Yep.
Yep. So yeah, I'm a big believer in that. I just think Leigh Wood. I like him. Look, he knocked out the Irish Mick Conlan, which I was not very impressed with. But I don't buy the idea that it was a lucky punch. I don't
No,
believe in lucky punches in boxing.
it wasn't. It wasn't
No, it's
because
an
he had landed that same punch earlier in the round. I think the
yeah.
previous round also. So yeah, no, it wasn't a lucky punch.
Yeah, I was talking to Mick Conlan, and like he said he was absolutely exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when your exhaustion sets in, you're far easier to knock over.
Mm-hmm.
And regardless, it was an excellent fight. I was very unhappy with the result, but it was a very fair result, and I like Leigh Wood. I think he's a nice guy. I think he's good for the sport. And this to me solidifies the number one in the division. This is the only fight
I agree.
Yeah. So that would be my prediction.
And don't nobody say Gary Russell Jr. because he don't even fight. Okay.
When was the last time, Gary? 2019?
Yeah, I agree with that one. They got the over under on this one is 6.5. The over is plus 105. So that's if you're not trying to parlay, that's a nice little bite for somebody if you just want to go with a straight bet over 6.5.
Yeah, over 6.5. Yeah. I don't think again, I think Leigh Wood is fresh and active, and he's a good fighter. He has the ability to prevent himself getting knocked out early. Now, people might point out that he got hurt by Mick Conlan at the end of, I think, the first round, but Mick Conlan's a far different type of fighter. He is an awkward southpaw fighter with excellent reflexes and an extremely good athlete for finding angles. Mauricio Lara is not going to find that punch, right?
Exactly.
That's the difference. Mauricio Lara has a different fighting style, and I always say that the punches that hurt the most are the ones you don't see. It's not that it was not that Mick Conlan's stronger than Mauricio Lara. He's probably not. But if you can land that punch and your opponent doesn't see it, it can just discombobulate you entirely. It can throw you off, and that's what I think happened. Someone made a good point, though, that for most of the rounds after, like rounds 2, 3, and 4, Wood was still quite hurt. And that is a good point. So yes, if Mauricio Lara does land that clinical, excellent picked shot between rounds 1 and 2, this will be over by round 3. But I don't think he will. I think Leigh Wood's better than that.
I do too.
Yeah.
All right. So everybody, make sure you follow him on Twitter. Let me put his Twitter page up again. And while we do this, just give a quick rundown of all your bets you did this week. So anybody that's joining the show late can get the quick rundown of everything.
Yep. All right, tonight I'm going to be risky. I hate David Adelaide. I really hate him. He stole a lot of money off me in the Kamil Sokolowski fight. I don't blame him, but I do a bit. So I'm actually going to go for 3 bets on that one. Go the distance, plus 250, Bezos decision, and a draw.
Okay.
I know it's three, but it's all kind of around the idea that Adelaide does not get that man out of there, and that Bezos has enough of a moderate pedigree to keep his man at range because he's a lot bigger. Um, so that's my prediction. If you want me to kind of gun to my head, go the distance, and then for a value bet, 16-1 Bezos decision.
Okay.
Going down from
And that card starts when about an hour and 15 minutes. So if you want to get that fight starts in about an hour and 15 minutes.
yeah,
So if you get that bet in, get it in now.
yeah, that fight's gonna be on BT Sport, and I don't know what American site's gonna pick it up, but I'm sure you can I'm sure you can use your imagination to how most boxing fans find their fights. Um, Chevron Israel Dufus, like I said, nothing too impressive here. I'm going 1-4. 1-4 knockout for Shavon Clark at -180. For Jorge Silva and Kieran Conway, so the next fight, Kieran Conway decision +125. Gamil Yafi and Diego Alberto Ruiz. I'm gonna go with. I really like this one. I'm gonna go with Gamil Yafi late KO +350, between 9 and 12, 10 and 12. Really think he has it in him to do the job. So that's Gamil Yafi late KO. And then for Gary Cullen and Wilfredo Flores, I think Gary Cully 5-6, 7-8. You get that at like +400, +250. I think for 5-6. Uh, Better counter puncher, better fighter. Wilfredo leaves his head out there quite often. Don't think he'll be able to handle Gary's output. And then Dalton Smith, Billy Ellington. Prediction: Dalton Smith over 4.5, or sorry, fight to go over 4.5 rounds. And then Dalton Smith unanimous decision. The over 4.5, I think, is a really good value bet. Be very surprised if that doesn't pull
Mm-hmm.
off. And then Leigh Wood and Lara. I have Lara by decision, and I have either to KO rounds 10 to
What
12,
you,
9 to
you have
12.
Lara by decision?
Sorry, Leigh Wood
Lee
by
Wood by
decision.
decision.
Yeah,
Okay.
Leigh Wood by decision at 8.5 +850, and then either to KO TKO rounds 9 to 12, 10 to 12. I got that at +500, but I think if you shop around, you might get that a little bit better. Um, and that's my predictions for tonight and tomorrow.
All right, man. I really appreciate you stepping in and doing this for me, man. And make sure everybody y'all follow him, Turning Point, Define Polk on Twitter. He's not a Brit. He's an Irishman. I made that well. I didn't
Yeah,
clarify that with the first tweet.
yeah,
He almost
yeah, yeah,
killed
yeah.
me.
Like I said, I was actually gonna like spend 5 minutes giving you like a geography lesson, but I thought I'd save you. I'd save you.
Okay, but everybody, he said David Adelaide decision.
He might
Sorry.
get robbed. You know what? Go the distance will save you. You know what? He was robbed. Sorry, he wasn't robbed. Kamil Sokolowski was robbed against him. Um, but all I'll say is I think the fight goes the distance. I'm not confident enough to say who's going to get the decision. More than likely, if it's close, David will. But go the distance is +250, so like that's 2.5 to 1. That's good enough for me. I think I'm being greedy if I'm trying to pick anything else. And Adelaide to win by decision is just +350, so you're not taking a big hit on that to just go the distance.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going back and forth to watch. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, everybody, make sure y'all tell your people about this show. We do it every Friday, either between 3 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Eastern, maybe 1 p.m. Whenever I can get somebody, whenever their time goes by. Please hit the like and subscribe button. And we're gonna bring you much more stuff to come. Anything you want to plug, Tony?
No, just make sure to follow me and Cash App. I actually don't have Cash App. Yeah, just follow me. That's good. That's
And
good
if
enough.
you have a gambling problem, make sure you call 1-800. I think I got to start putting that into my
Do you
into my
actually?
videos. Yeah, I'm playing it safe just in case. So if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800. I got to get the number. Gambler, Gambler. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, help is available. Call 1-800 Gambler. I'm monetized now, so I gotta follow all steps. I don't know,
Yeah.
but
I, I,
anyway,
I'm not. So my what I'm gonna say is remember, you don't have a gambling problem. You just have people who have a problem with your gambling. And that's a big difference.
Exactly. All right, man. All right, y'all. Y'all take it easy. Appreciate it. What's up, Pac Man?
Take it easy.
Appreciate you coming on, man.
No problem. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.